Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feedstuffs 365. I'm Sarah Muirhead. Your Feedstuffs team was recently in Germany at Eurotier, and one of the hot topics of discussion was that of zinc in swine diets. Joining us to talk about new dietary regulations in the EU, as well as research on new double-encapsulated zinc for use in swine diets, is Stephanie Ladirat. She is Research and Development Director at NUQO Feed Additives. Thank you for joining us today, Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah, and good morning, everybody, or good afternoon.
Let's start with a bit of background. Tell us about NUQO Feed Additives and your role with the company.
Yeah, sure. So NUQO is a French company, but really we feel very global. We have staff all over Europe, but also offices in Thailand and Mexico, and distributing already in many countries around the world. We deliver a feed additive solution, and what makes us unique is that we combine phytogenic, so plant extract, with phycogenic, algae product together, and we encapsulate those molecules so that we make sure we preserve the activity of the active, and also we deliver the active at the right place in the gut. So this is, also what I do as my role. So what you said, I'm the technology director at NUQO, and really I have two hats. One is really technical support, where I make sure that we have the right research done for showing the evidence about our products, but also making sure that we have new product development. So this is really the two parts where I'm involved in.
Very good. Talk to us about the reduced use of zinc and antibiotics in pig diets in Europe and kind of some of the resulting challenges and even opportunities that these regulations are creating.
Sure. I think you may know that there is a ban on zinc oxide since June 2022 in Europe. But really, this had been announced in 2017 already, and a lot of the European countries did not wait for that ban. To reduce the use of zinc oxide. We saw, especially in the North European country, a lot of activity already in the last 5-7 years already to try to reduce the use of the zinc oxide. And basically, zinc oxide was used to control post-weaning diarrhea. And when you are not allowed to use or want to reduce the use of zinc oxide, and you cannot use antibiotic either, because this was banned in 2006 in Europe, you are facing the challenges linked to post-weaning. So at that moment, the young piglets, which is, in Europe, usually wean between 3 and 4 weeks, the gut is not yet fully developed, the immunity is not fully developed. And, at weaning, it's separated from its mother, it's a new environment, new type of feed, so a lot of stress, a lot of new germs as well that the piglet is exposed to. So they are a lot more a risk for post-weaning diarrhea. So really what the producers are trying to search is improving gut health so that, the piglet needs less of the use of the zinc oxide.
So let's talk about alternatives that currently exist for replacing zinc and how best can the pig industry sort through everything and determine what might be best for their particular operation.
Yeah, sure. There are many natural health promoting solutions today. We can think about phytogenics, organic acid, pre or probiotic, and all have some beneficial effects on gut health. It has been proven in many studies. But one has to think about where they act and what they are doing when wanting to improve gut health. So phytogenic, maybe more on the digestive function, also a little bit on modulating the microflora composition. Pro and prebiotic are more really oriented toward the maturation of the microflora, setting up the right bacteria inside the gut. And the organic acid, I would say, is really about two things. The pH control, so you have acidifiers, so that you have, after that, also better digestion of especially the protein, but also a strong accent for pathogen control. But that will be depending on the type of acids, their pKa, so at which pH they will work, but also where they are delivered in the gut. So that's when knowing all these aspects of this natural solution, we can use a combination of different of these active molecules so that we make sure that we have a comprehensive support for the piglets.
So talk to us about the importance of having that right combination of active molecules and a timed release of each of those molecules in a pig's gut.
Sure. So I think if we look at NUQO Safe, so which is the NUQO product, which is with a double encapsulation, we thought about having this comprehensive efficacy all along the gut. So we wanted to have molecules that were acting not only on the digestive function to make sure that the piglet that has not yet a mature gut could digest better, but also talking about its immunity. We said it's not fully developed yet, so we need to help that little piglets. But also later on, these pathogens that are in the more in the ileum, in the cecum, that's where the pathogen overgrowth is coming. So you see really different place along the gut needs to be covered. So when we designed the NUQO Safe, we really thought, okay, we want to have essential oil, algae, and capsaicinoids really on the outer core so that they are released first. So not in the stomach, we will have no action in the stomach, but really in the duodenum, jejunum, where we want to have the action on digestive function and immunity. That's the first place. And then, you know, the pathogens, what I said, are more in the ileum and cecum. So you needed the organic acid that have this strong direct antimicrobial effect, but later on, not really at the beginning necessarily, but really more in the ileum and cecum. So we put them at the core of the microparticles so that they are released in the second place, closer to the ileum and cecum. So that's what makes the NUQO Safe very unique and bringing a full comprehensive efficacy all along the gut.
And you've been working with the University of Berlin on research on ways to examine and ways to control gut health. Talk to us a little bit about that work and what you've been doing there.
Sure. So we did this trial in 2022 at the University of Berlin with piglets. Excuse me. So they were actually 3 treatments. So we had the negative control, which was just a regular diet with a minimum level of zinc oxide that is still allowed. We call it the nutritional level, around 80 grams per ton of zinc oxide. And a second treatment with a high dose of zinc oxide, so the old model, I would say, that was used in Europe and that is not allowed anymore. And in the third treatment, so we had the Safe at 800 grams per ton on top of the negative control. So there was the nutritional level of zinc, but not the high dose. So we had a typical diet, 2 phases with ingredients that are commonly found in Europe. Also some lactose ingredient in the first phase. And when we look at the results for this trial, if we go to the next slide, we see that we looked at the performance post-weaning, 6 weeks post-weaning or 42 days post-weaning. And in the first graph, where we look at the body weight gain versus the negative control, we see that with the zinc oxide high dose, we have about 1.2 kilo extra body weight, and with the Safe, we have 1.3 kilo extra. So very similar additional performance when you are using NUQO Safe as compared to the zinc oxide. Also, what we see is that with the body weight at 42 days, the distribution was more homogeneous, meaning that all piglets were having the more similar weight as compared to the negative control. If we look at feed efficiency, which is also very important nowadays, especially in the context of a high raw material cost, we see that the NUQO Safe, although not significant, was better than the group with the high level of zinc oxide. And this is what we know, is that the zinc oxide, the use was to control the post-weaning diarrhea, so mostly linked to the pathogen. And the NUQO has the aspect on pathogen control, but also with the essential oil, the note on improving the digestive function. So we see it here that through the combination of the different molecules, we have this further improvement on the feed efficiency. And then what was very nice in this trial is we did not only look at the performance post-weaning, but we also look at the pathogen level. So if you go to the next slide, we see here the pathogen level that we measured in the cecum. And we looked at the total E. coli level, and E. coli is especially the enterotoxigenic Escherichia coli, so ETEC here is the major strain responsible for the post-weaning diarrhea. So we looked at both the total E. coli and the ETEC. Day 5 post-weaning, so where usually you have the highest occurrence of diarrhea, and also day 42. And we see that the ETEC at day 5, we already significantly reduced this pathogen by 1 log, similarly to what the zinc oxide is doing. And at day 42, we see a strong effect on the E. coli, total E. coli for piglets. So this was for us a very good result to confirm that our product has really strong control of pathogens, especially the E. coli, relevant here for the post-weaning period, and that could be similarly with similar result as for the high level of zinc.
Are you seeing similar results then out on the farms?
Excuse me?
Are you seeing similar results on farm? This is at a university setting. Are you seeing similar results?
Yes, so we have many users in Europe, but also in other geographies. We start to have results also in Thailand or in the US. And I think we see very positive feedback from all these customers. We are at the moment trying to also confirm this result on farm with taking samples from the field and confirming the lower level of E. coli. We already got the feedback that the post-weaning diarrhea are reduced, so that has been confirmed, but we really want to prove it that it's also because of the reduction of E. coli. So these analyses are in progress.
So these are kind of the next steps, so to speak, and as you continue to explore and move forward with your product here. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think one of the major further point that I want to explore is really different geographies to make sure that it works in different conditions, different climate, with different management and nutrition on farm. But also really looking at this mode of action, because having a proper result is, of course, very important for the producer, but it's important to us to be able to explain why and how it is working. So we want to do more sampling on microflora, but also looking maybe at immune biomarkers to be able to better explain the mode of action of the product.
Very good. Our thanks to you, Stephanie, for joining us here today and sharing this information with us. That's Stephanie Ladirat of NUQO Feed Additives. Thank you for tuning in as well. For those of you that have joined us, a heads up that on January 19th, we're going to be having an additional discussion on the topic of zinc use in swine diets. Dr. Jerry Shearson will be with us to talk about work coming out of the University of Minnesota, looking at kind of what's going on in the U.S. So as always, visit Feedstuffs 365 to learn more and to check out our upcoming and past programming. Until next time, for Feedstuffs 365, I'm Sarah Muirhead.